welcome to the start of day 3 for the Riyadh Masters. Day 1 as well of the group stages. We had a couple days where we had some play-in action. Denog, multiple teams battling it out. There was 6, making 8 slots actually. That was up for grabs. Those have all been determined. Now we get to the further stage here to see what really is in store for us and who's going to be able to take that $15 million prize pool.
Yeah, the people that got knocked out already, they had, $50,000 dues that they're going to be going home with, 100K plus for everyone moving forward. So that's nice to be able to see. And as you mentioned, we see there the progression going throughout. We're in that middle stage, the group stage right now, 6 teams in groups A and B. Top 4 moving forward, 5th and 6th go to the lower bracket, and then 7th and 8th drop out entirely. So we're going to be losing 4 teams over the course of 4 days, and it's going to come from these 16 teams that we've got here. I'm going to ask you, Aries, is there anyone in particular that you're seeing as standouts of the absolute tops of the group, and ones that might struggle a little bit more based on what we've seen in past tournaments, as well as what we saw through the play-ins?
I think Group A, I'd say Gaming and LGD Quest are an outlier for me. Big question mark, because in some of our casts, I did not think they would do too well without Amar. They've definitely proved me wrong, so I'm very excited to see how deep they can run. I'm concerned for Pandas and EG in Group A. What about you, though?
Yeah, probably Pandas, EG, OG. They're the ones that are on a little bit more shaky ground, I would say, just based off of the plans as well as recent performances. EG really not stepping up to the same level as they have in tournaments over the year. They kind of bombed out of the Bali Major. Pandas had a decent performance, but it really is up and down. They're probably, along with Spirit, one of the teams with a higher variance between their absolute best and worst. And for Group B, I mean, Tundra and Bet Boom and Liquid stand out like a sore thumb at the very top of that. But, we can certainly see Talon put in some performances, especially the fact that they didn't play at Bali. They might be able to have hidden a few of the strats and really come out swinging.
Yeah, and they came out swing as well, right? In Dream League Season 20. They looked pretty goddamn good overall there. They weren't able to have, unfortunately, like a crazy run. Yeah, they're exactly right. I'm just double-checking now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they placed very highly. Was 4th indeed. So you have them. How's Shopify going to fare? This is also a team who is really struggling this year overall. I mean, not getting the results. Really, the best result was at Dream League 19 with the stand-in of Mikey. So
Group B looks really tough, man. I gotta say, there is a lot of teams, and I mean, TSM are overperforming. Secret have made their way through the plans as well. So really interesting to see how those results come, and we'll get to see a few of those teams today. Of course, first up, we do have an absolute banger of the match on the D stream. The best stream, of course. It's LGD taking on OG, and then Talon. We'll find out if the strats that they've hidden are going to be, the real deal when they take on some of their fellow countrymen. And, not countrymen, but people from the same region in FBZ and RML on Team Secret.
Sure. And then, of course, to close it off, you got Extreme versus OG, another very exciting series, and Liquid versus TSM as well, which we got to see, I should say, in the play-in stage. That'll be a bit of a rematch for them in particular, but once again, it's going to be a day with a lot of Dota action, and of course, it's all leading to that grand prize of 15 million. First place getting the 5 mil top dog prize as well. You are the ultimate Chad.
What would you spend it on if you won your share of 5 mil? Your share, because it's a 5-man team plus coach and everyone else.
What would I spend it on? A little bit of travel.
A little. You've got the travel bug.
Yeah, a little bit of travel. Got to invest a little bit of it. Got to think. You got to think a little bit smart, right? You get probably it's around maybe a little bit under $1 million, considering all gets a little bit taxes, whatever.
Yeah, but then it converts to Australian, so we get more than $1 million after that.
Oh, now we talk it. All right. Yeah, travel, invest a little bit, maybe splurge a little bit here and there. I don't know, man. You can do a lot with that money. You can do a lot.
You can. I'd probably just review some of those 2 Chainz videos where he tries a bunch of expensive stuff and just see, what he was able to get on board, and just try a little bit of the luxury in life every now and then. So that'll be interesting to see. But what will be more interesting to see is the outcome of some of these matches going on today as we do get into the first draft. What a segue, as we've got LGD taking on OG. And I really love this for LGD. I think you just need to ban this Enigma every single time against OG. They only won one game where they were not playing the Enigma for them. They could play it across positions 3, 4, and 5. And yeah, I think you just have to take away their one wood, let's call it. The club that they just go to the bag and take out every single time when they get given the opportunity.
What, 7 games with the Enigma, 57% win rate. So we will see LGD, though, go for something that they kind of showcased throughout the Bali Major, was the Elder Titan. Really kind of one of the few teams that were also picking up. Very interesting.
I like. So the one thing that I was really having a few gripes with OG about during the play-in stage, which we didn't really get to cast any of their games, I don't think we did, is that they just didn't pick the Timber Saw. And DM plays a fantastic Timber Saw, and I'm like, why are you not giving this guy the Timber, especially considering BZM in recent times has actually been able to, you know, pick it up a little bit more for himself. So you have that flex enabled. You haven't given away the lanes with, honestly, either of these first 2 picks. I really like this from OG. They've given themselves a ton of team fight and a lot of late game potential.
And you also have already kind of addressed the Elder Titan in a way where the Phoenix is a pretty solid leaner to it. The Fire Spirits are really annoying for the AT to be able to trade, considering you have a bunch of damage, but if your attack speed is slow, then you can have some difficulties as the game goes on as well. Just your ET has a lot of team fight. Phoenix can kind of counteract that too, and I'd say it's one of Tiger's best heroes. So I really like the opener from OG, PSG.LGD. They're going to follow up with a Bloodseeker though, so this is kind of definitely one of the responses that we've seen a lot so far to the Timber. You know, the Morphling has been one of them. We're not seeing that as much at the moment, but the Bloodseeker, you know, with a lot of the pure damage has been a nice way to deal with it.
We did still see the Morphling 12 times during the play-ins, though, so it's not like it's completely dropped off. Yeah, so I that's about where I want to see it, you know? If it's a good Morphling game, it's a good Morphling game. I think it had a 50% win rate or something like that, so it's still perfectly viable in the right game. It's just not first-pick material anymore, which I think is where Dota should be. There shouldn't be anyone that's just an absolute guarantee. But I like this Bloodseeker pick, too. You know, it counters out both of these heroes. You've got plenty of attack speed to deal with the Egg. You've eventually got that percentage-based damage, pure damage, to be able to go through the Timber Saw. And, of course, the Rupture against 2 heroes that rely somewhat heavily on their mobility is going to be really solid. So, great openings from both teams, honestly.
Yep. Going to be interesting to see how LG want to continue out with the bans. I mean, at the moment, of course, you're looking to try and get rid of the combo of the team fight that the Faceless Void would provide. I wonder if they even consider like another carry to be banned, something like a Juggernaut. That can be pretty nice versus the Bloodseeker. Yuragi's got a very formidable Jug as well.
He does indeed. I'm also just thinking, like, what is OG's strategy going to be based off of seeing this Bloodseeker? Because we've seen a bunch of other teams. I always reference, like, the old Execration, where if you've got Bloodseeker and you want to rupture something, just give them, like, 4 or 5 options that he really wants to rupture, and then you have to just choose one. You know, one hero might get countered, but the others are going to have an absolute free time. And a hero that they've actually been playing a whole lot more on OG in both pubs as well as a couple of times in these pro games has been Razor. And we've kind of seen it come back to prominence a little bit more, mostly with Liquid, but we've seen a lot of people start to pick it up, even occasionally in a support role if the lane determines that it's going to be good.
Who's doing
the
that?
old Kuro Razor. It's actually LGD, I believe, have played it once in that support role.
Okay, very interesting. We shall see, but
Kuro's still having an impact, even though he's not in the tournament, man.
Is to be expected with all the experience that he has. You know, some of the games leading up to the Riyadh Masters, I'm sure with whatever scrims were going on for Nigma and even, you know, through the qualifiers as well, maybe that was able to influence some of the thoughts from teams like Secret and Quest.
Mm-hmm. We've been talking a lot about OG, though. I really want to touch on LGD, and in particular, for a lot of people that haven't had the chance to watch New play, you're in for a treat, man. Like, this guy is... I get a little bit annoyed when people kind of forget about him when they talk about the big up-and-coming stars. You know, he took like a 2-year break during the COVID years, and he's only 22, so he's still relatively new to top Dota, and you and I were casting him during the China qualifiers for TI last year, as well as the Last Chance qualifiers, and he almost solo carried them from the off lane to TI itself. They ended up getting, 4th at the Last Chance qualifiers, so getting pretty damn close. And I mean, LGD have gone from getting 0 points at Lima and Berlin majors to getting third place at Dream League 20 and top 5-6 finish at
Yeah.
Bali since he's been able to come in and join the team. So I love that he's got a chance on a top team, and I've got high hopes for him and this squad altogether.
Yeah, no, I think this is a major winning team, without a doubt. We got to see that firsthand at Bali. Of course, they made a deep run. It wasn't enough of a run, but it's still a new team. Still some new experience maybe needed as well, like Shiro and Planet. Yes, they've been around for a little bit, but of course that experience will come through with every single event as well. OG though, second phase, picking up the Dark Willow. So of course this is another staple for Mr. Tiger.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, though, they do have the potential to flex it back and forth, but it's probably going to be a Seb Phoenix, and it's probably going to be a Tiger Dark Willow. But you just have to wonder, like, how exactly are they wanting to lane this too? Because honestly, the Brambles against, like, if it's an ET Bloodseeker lane, doesn't feel too bad, you know, just to be able to constantly blink away from the relative distance. Of course, Phoenix is able to do that as well, but OG still maintains some level of flexibility while still having second pick. So they're really in the driver's seat here, and you can see that LGD are not sweating. You've still got the Director 8 kind of directing things, but they're down to 30 seconds of reserve time, and they're throwing a little bit of a curveball their way as well, saying, well, you don't know 100% where this Batrider is going to go.
Definitely would be.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, I'd hope for it to be nothing to say Batrider, just because, I mean, the matchup versus the Timbersaw is incredibly strong. But like you said, there's a lot of value still with playing it as a support to lane with the Doom. You're at least going to be able to get that comfortable matchup. It does give them an opportunity to potentially pick something like the Queen of Pain here for OG. I hear that BZM really likes to play. It gives you a favorable matchup versus the Batrider if the Batrider goes mid, which could then potentially force it to be support.
Not sure if you want to co-op versus the Bloodseeker, though, unless you're, like, going for that strat overall, right, where it's like, who do you rupture? But they go for a TA instead. Feels solid-ish, right? Like, you are going to have some decent damage over time for it, but it certainly doesn't struggle in the lane against the Batrider, I would think, in terms of, like, a 1v1 mid matchup. Maybe a bit more so, actually, with the Blood Grenade than previously. I'm going to correct myself there, but I have a lot of faith in either BZM or Yuragi to be able to play this. Again, they've gone for flex on OG, and that's really where I think a lot of the teams that are going to be performing better than expected need to be looking to address things, right? Like, if you can add extra layers of flexibility to your draft, I think you're just going to rocket up the standings.
So at the moment, how do we like the current lane setup? Because we did mention that there is some flexibility. If it is going to be like a Doom Batrider versus TA Dark Willow / TA Phoenix, do we feel like one side is favored and then can not have the flex to the mid lane, or do they need to kind of avoid that lane setup currently that we imagine it's going to be?
I mean, I would imagine that is potentially like the Batrider mid still, right? Because they've banned the Quap. So they're basically saying, well, this is really what we want. We want to be able to address the Timbersaw. It's not like they're lacking in damage for the Timber, though, right? They've got the Bloodseeker, they've got the Doom, they've got the Batrider. Even honestly, from a position 4, you could still get a lot of work done, and even just the Earth Splitter as well from the Elder Titan can do a lot of work as long as you can hold them in place. So honestly, I don't hate both of these drafts. If you did run the Doom and the Batrider in the side lanes against a Willow TA, you could just get run down at level 3 by this Doom Batrider, right? There's really not too much that a Dark Willow can do about it, especially if you're as individually skilled as New and Planet are, just to be able to avoid more than one Bramble.
And kind of one issue that I have with OG's lineup is just that double support is very reliant on experience. And quite often when you're playing with a Timbersaw, that support leaves the lane very early on to give the Timber solo experience. So you have a bit of concern on they're going to be very reliant on levels to have impact inside the early game and to give damage. So you're potentially needing more of like an active hero for BZM.
Potentially, but you could also just say that, like, Phoenix can make stacks very easily, and Timber and TA take stacks incredibly well. So that's a good way to be able to recover a lot of that experience for the Phoenix, and then maybe you can get the Dark Willow to be the one soaking the lanes, and it's really not so bad. I would have loved seeing a Puck from OG just to be able to combine together with a Dark Willow, but LGD have banned that one a fair ways ago.
Very interesting Huskar ban. Don't know if it's protecting like the potential of the tier to go mid.
They banned the Ember Spirit straight after it as well. So
Yeah.
basically just saying, when we don't want that to happen, we need to take away their playmakers because they are kind of lacking them right now on OG. That's the big thing. I do agree with you on that point. They've got ways to be able to get farm on these supports, but they don't really have ways to do anything until those ultimates come up on both of the supports. It's just going to be a bit of a farm fest for OG at the very beginning. Whereas you compare that to like a Doom can run at you, a Bloodseeker with Rupture can run at you very quickly, a Bat Rider, even without Lasso, can look to get a lot of work done. So LGD are going to be the ones that are having to reveal where exactly this Bat Rider is being played first. I honestly, it doesn't matter to me whether it's 2 or 4.
Ooh.
They're just going to go Lina mid. Okay, so this to me says now you can run this TA mid, and maybe you go for a bit more of an active position 1, like you don't really want the Slark into the Bloodseeker. That's the thing. It would have been decent against the Doom and the Bat Rider.
Can consider. Let's see. There goes Spirit Breaker. Okay, I was going to suggest Monkey.
So it's an offlane Spirit Breaker, a mid Timber, and a 1 TA.
Okay.
Is one of the things that DM has been playing a little bit, and it does give you that big playmaker. So you've got that going in your favor, but it's not like Lina's going to have too rough of a time against this Timbersaw, and you have yet again another Timbersaw answer now off the back of this. And I would probably say that even though OG have the last overall pick, based on this Lina, if you're going to go for a bit of a farm fest, I think Nothing to Say is going to be pretty happy with it, right? Like you've got the damage over time to be able to burst through this TA. You've got the playmakers. I am slightly preferring this LGD draft, even though it was dead even coming up to that last pick.
Yeah, so you just feel like the Spirit Breaker wasn't enough of a gotcha pick here for OG?
I don't think so. Like, it does give them that active hero that they needed, but I'm worried that if you're getting active onto one hero, you're still going to have, like, a Doom and a Bloodseeker need a little bit of time to come online. Same sort of thing with Alina. So I think the main priority is just going to be make sure the supports have TPs to be able to protect Nothing to Say in that mid lane, because even though you've had this new edition of New, it's still going to be Nothing to Say doing the majority of the carrying for LGD in a lot of these games. He has always been performing at that absolute S tier level.
Yeah, without a doubt he has been. So we'll see. I mean, I'm pretty sure at the moment the only real build for the Lina is that magic build. What the build up is going to be though, and what the item progression is going to be, we'll have to find out in this game 1. We've seen a little bit of it so far. I think Dream League we got a glimpse of it. Barley Major as well here and there. So like you said, they have very minimal ways to be able to get on top of the Lina. And is Nothing to Say going to be able to capitalize on that advantage or not here? We've seen OG play in the play-ins, but we are yet to see PSG.LGD play on this new patch, 7.33E. Come out with some of their staples, the new Doom, the Why You Smile, Elder Titan as well. They got some classics there. Got some other new picks as well. So regardless, I think we're in store for a pretty good game.
And Planet, of course. This is one area that OG, they have like 3 heroes that they hard ban and just almost never pick, and Planet on his Bat Rider, it is one of them. I'm a little surprised that they don't lean into it a little bit more, just because Seb does tend to play a little bit more of that greedy style, so you could probably get away with it, but the fact that it's been able to slip through all the way to this stage of the draft, it still feels like a top 5 hero to me.
DM's doing this sentry shenanigans down bottom, so we'll go back to that in a sec. LGD up to
the creeps to hit it.
Yeah, we'll hold that, because let's see if they're going to be able to run into anyone, though. Looks like OG, they're far enough away. We'll probably pop underneath. Yeah, they see New as well, so nothing crazy going on. Should just be a couple of trades in regards to the bounties, considering OG have this read of the positioning of PSG.LGD. So yeah, we could talk about the sentry. The first person I saw do this was Miero on 9 Pandas, where you put the sentry underneath the tower range, the creeps are going to aggro to it, and it just slows it down. That's all it does. It means that your wave is able to go under the enemy's tower earlier. Kind of the way you combat that, though, is what I imagine Shiro is going to do, is he's just going to meet the enemy creeps and stop it from going under his tower, but you see Seb and DM... So yeah, exactly right. So he won't be able to protect it because of DM and Seb being there, so that's kind of what the sentry provides you now. So this wave is going to bounce all the way back into OG's favor.
Oh, he's being cheeky. They're already starting the Elder Titan shenanigans, man. That Astral Spirit is being sent across the entire map. he is going to have a ton of damage to just start popping these people in the face. Look at it, it's coming through the river, about to launch onto him right about now. And you've got an Elder Titan with about, 120 attack damage at 407 movement speed at 1 minute into the game. Seems balanced, seems like a pretty easy way to get a lot of denies in this early stage.
I wonder if he's done the timing as well on when to send out the spirit to connect to the mid lane on the way past. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he has as well, so...
Brother, this is a $15 million tournament. The man's done his homework, and if he didn't want to, old Dad Director 8 made sure that he did.
Yeah, boys got to know their stuff, these small mechanics. There's a lot of them, without a doubt. So, we brought up in the draft that we kind of feel like this mid lane, maybe early on, BZM might be lacking some of the sustainers. We're seeing that be the current case, but I imagine second point in reactive armor, BZM should be able to tank through some of the spam. Might have a difficult time, though, with level 3 from Nothing to Say.
Do you really want to go 2 points in the reactive armor on this Timber Sword? That's the real question, right? If you're playing it mid, most of the time you want to be getting that more active style. It's not like a sit back in lane sort of deal. You know, you are getting very, very active. You're making sure that you can be that consistent kill threat or even just get farm a little bit quicker across the map. So the fact that he's been forced to put the 2 points into it is a positive sign for Nothing to Say. He's winning the lane, and he's also giving himself a little bit less death threat, I suppose you could call it, for when he does come online on this Timber.
What else do you think he can level, though? Because you can't go Timber Chain in the mid lane.
The second point in Whirling Death is what I'm saying. Like, if it's not the Lina. I just think that a Lina is a great hero against the Timber Sword, is what I'm saying.
We're seeing that currently be the case, so good stuff for Nothing to Say. As our last side lane going up top, Planet with New was Tiger and Yuragi in combination together. We've seen Yuragi play the Templar Assassin a couple times so far. Might have been some danger as Tiger. Pretty good placement out of the Bramble. But a bit of miscommunication there. You didn't trust Planet to land that Flame Break. It might not have mattered though. Planet. Blood Grenade and Joya gets the kill. First blood. It's going to be Boots coming out now for him.
Keep camp locked up. They're controlling the Lotus Pool as well, so New's going to be able to secure that. He's got the Ring of Health for himself, so he's going to feel pretty safe in this lane. Like, he's only level 2 on the Doom, but he'll be level 3 after this creep wave, and you know, it's honestly at the point where Planet can maybe start to stack things up. Could potentially look to make a kill happen up on this top side, considering Tiger did TP to mid to be able to refill the bottle of BZM, who's still having a rough time.
Yeah, that he is indeed. I really do wonder now with 2 points reactive if it gets any easier. See, he's got the Ring of Health queued up as well. How the other lane's looking at least. I mean, it's a very good start for PSG.LGD. All the cores having a great time. I suppose DM as well is having a pretty solid time. And what are we expecting out of the Spirit Breaker in regards to like some itemization in this game in particular for DM?
I think he's going to need to play a pretty sacrificial game, to be honest. Like, this isn't a game where, you know, we've seen him play like Midas Venomancer, Midas Ogre Magi in the play-in stage, but he's just going to need to be that consistent kill threat. Just go a bunch of items that not necessarily allow you to farm, but just get really active early on. So, pretty standard stuff for an SP, right? Phase Boots into either Shadowblade or Aghanim Scepter for him.
Do you feel like there needs to be a consideration of something like a Lotus Orb at some stage this game with the Doom, Lasso, and Rupture as well?
Oh, at some stage, absolutely. But I think early on, your main role is just make enough space so that the TA and Timber can get huge. Okay, with a career. It's the one kill so far, and it's kind of going to plan, right? For, honestly, both teams. They both seem relatively happy to just sit back and farm. But for LGD, it's really just leaning on that lane dominance for now. Again, like a Doom, Bloodseeker, and Lina need, like, their... let's say two and a half items to be able to truly come online and feel that impact. So the fact that they're doing so well on these laning stage is a positive sign for them. Obviously, it's a very minor net worth lead at this point in time, often just on the back of the first blood, but that's really what they want. They just want to not be bleeding kills at this stage.
Yeah, I'm playing on a knife's edge here. Maybe there is a bit of an opening, though. They're going to start to rotate one. It'll just be Seb. No mana or Nothing to Say means that the Lina doesn't have really any turn potential. And, well, Seb, he's just going to get the kill by himself. Top lane we go, though. Yuragi is getting hunted down. Planet's going to be able to lock onto his target. Look at the kill onto New before they die, but PSG.LGD without a doubt, they're going to be able to avenge their off-laner's life. An easy kill onto Yuragi.
All right, well, that's a nice way. Who ended up getting it? It was Seb that ended up getting that mid kill, so yeah, not the best for the Timbersaw, but it brings him up to the level 6. He's got a siege creep here as well. With that chakra, he's able to keep him pressured away. Is instantly just tossing out that Laguna Blade as he's got the fountain regen still on him. I still think it's kind of ridiculous that Lina can get a Laguna Blade for 150 mana.
Yeah.
500 damage is insane.
Dragon Slave just 20 mana less. All right. Yeah. Yep. Why not? They're still holding 3 heroes up top as well, so Yuragi's going to have to continue to play a little bit more cautiously. I don't have any vision here. It's like they are potentially aware that something is going on.
What are these stacks looking like as well?
I thought Kashiro bottom lane. EZM started to rotate down. We'll see if there's going to be any reactions out of PSG.LGD. Team will be the first one to start. As soon as they see BZM, they'll get the TP in. It's only going to be why you smile though, and it might be a bit too late. Stun is there. Sleeps them down. Shiro will survive. I don't think Why You Smile will be able to do so there. They're even going to bring an extra member. Okay, both heroes from PSG.LGD will be able to stay alive, but this is 2 TPs used now. Go back in. Alright, why not? Seize a freebie.
Still though, it's not Shiro that dies, and it's a lot of attention taken away. The plus side is that OG didn't end up... Like the OG, because I'm looking at Seb's tag. But they still end up getting the Wisdom Rune for themselves, and we talked about how important that was both for this Phoenix and Dark Willow. So Tiger, he's already up to level 5.5, just 7.5 minutes in off the back of a lot of those plays, and off a lot of the potential of being able to take stacks.
Maybe if that Brambles connects there. Oh, they might still be able to get the kill. DM flies across the map with a charge, and now with BZM here. That's a gigantic kill. Couple deaths in a row onto nothing to say. And it might be a little bit more difficult of a chase. But we are starting to see what can happen when some heroes from OG collapse on this mid lane.
He just got a little bit greedy, and I don't think he saw that Seb had the infused raindrops. Otherwise, he would have been able to secure the kill onto that Phoenix. So another good little skirmish going the way of OG, and that is that little 6 on Tiger as well. So he's now got the potential to be able to make plays with DM if the LGD heroes go too far forward.
GLG do have a great ward though inside the jungle. They're going to scout out Tiger and BZM. They don't have level 6 just yet on New, which could prove to be a bit of an issue. BZM is going to have a free fight. Nothing that he really needs to fear. They want to try and target down Plan at the moment. BZM with the haste rune should be able to close the distance. There'll be a 1-for-1 exchange. Every single hero, though, from PSG.LGD makes their way to the top side of the map. And both Shiro, along with Nothing to Say, will get nothing out of that movement. So DM, he's free farming mid. Seb getting some much needed gold and experience down bottom as well.
Yeah, this is the absolute dream that OG were looking for. Just giving a lot of space, making plays with the active heroes, and more importantly, it's around controlling those power runes, right? EZM has gotten the last 2, and it's really enabled them to pick up a lot of these extra kills when in OG's favor for now. Bash. As the charge comes up. Yeah.
Bash, please. No bashes, DM. Well, they'll be able to get the return kill. He gets the Doom at least, so that's going to minimize some of the effectiveness out of the Timber, but DM, dying. He didn't even live. Tiger. It's going to be up to Shiro now to potentially get the kill, and well, they will from afar. But the Doom's about to expire, so BZM will be back in fighting shape, and even Seb is about joining as well.
He's got the Supernova, that's why. He was just waiting for it, realizing that his effectiveness on this Phoenix is just going to ramp up heavily once he's got that one there. But much more important to be able to, again, build up stacks for the TA and the Timbersaw, get a lot of this farm for yourself. Phoenix, one of the best late-game supports in the game, so a little bit greedy, it's the Seb way. Charge for this mid lane. Is SA going to be alright? Looks like he will.
Which, like, as we look at it, how do you deal with charge this game? Echo Slump's incredibly slow. Rupture's really your only thing for the Spirit Breaker. But, like, I mean, you kind of said in the draft, like, sometimes it's nice to have multiple heroes that kind of want to be ruptured, or I should say don't want to be ruptured. So it means maybe Timber's not getting ruptured, which could enable BZM in some of the fights. So already been super impressed with DM's involvement this game, and it's only going to get even scarier once these items are completed.
Yeah, for sure. I need to rely on some stuff like the Stomps, the Flame Break, Rupture, Doom, Lasso. Like, you've got stuff, but it's just a little short range, you know? Eventually, with a lot of these pickoffs that they're getting, DM 1, 0, and 2 now, he's going straight into that Shadow Blade, so really embracing that aggressive playmaking role from the offlane, which I love.
It does seem like so far it's really been OG that have kind of been the more proactive team, like the ones that have started a lot of the plays across the map. Do you kind of feel like that's going to be the case for maybe the next 10 minutes or so as well?
I think it has to be, because again, like, this LGD roster is one that needs their two big items. Like, Doom doesn't even have his Midas yet, but you know the Lina wants this Yule Scepter before she makes any plays happen. You know the Bloodseeker needs the BKB and the Maelstrom before he makes things happen. So it's this really awkward position where they can't really do too much on LGD, where OG really need to be super active so that by the time they reach those timings, hopefully they've taken like all tier 1 towers and a single tier 2, or at least something along those lines, and are able to go into Roshan.
A glimpse of BZM TPing top, so... Well defended though nonetheless for OG. Are looking for a fight. TP gets cancelled from Tiger. A little bit of a defensive use of the Earth Splitter from YU Smell is going to give enough separation. They're still hunting DM for the charge. Flame Break. I guess that's one of the ways they can cancel the charge.
With all this space, Shiro's been able to just sit down here bottom under this handy little camp at the bottom side, and now he's got the Maelstrom coming out to him. So he's been able to get that real accelerant for his damage as well as his farm. I believe they took the Ancient stack, so he won't have that one to be able to farm, but he's got this one over to the left side as well, so he is certainly going to be in a good state to be able to get into that quick-ish BKB for himself.
So we're going to need a lot more time though from PSG.LGD. Really want to be able to open up this map. Try and slow down the farm that Yuragi can get inside the jungle. They should be able to finally get the tower now.
So annoying. Just a couple of right clicks away, but all the while you've got creeps hitting in onto mid, creeps hitting in onto bottom. You can't stick around all too long unless you're going to fully commit onto this one, and they're just using Seb as bait right now. They know that he's got the Supernova, so unless you're going to commit the Lasso, the Doom, land the perfect Light Strike array, he's going to be able to get off that Supernova and Fiery Spirits to be able to live. So this is a good defense of the tower right now by OG. Especially considering how many LGD heroes were up on the top side, not farming other than Shiro.
Yeah, that's kind of the big issue I see right now, that like News net worth is not really progressing, which is a bit of a concern. I mean, we know this hero can skyrocket in farm if you are left alone, but they're not really giving New the space to be able to recover on this Midas.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those games where the Vanguard really feels like it's one of those ones where it's just laning stage oriented, right? Like, it's not going to have too much of effectiveness as things go on. TA just trucks you, basically. Timbersaw, who cares, Dark Willow, it's magic damage, all that sort of stuff. As Planet actually yoinks away the Wisdom Rune, nicely done, and scouts out a little bit of a stack. I don't think they're going to be in a position to be able to steal it away, though. Kill.
My God. Whoa. No way, got denied.
Easy, yeah, damn stuff.
So they use a ward, a couple of TPs, terrorize as well. I mean, I guess BZM farms here, but... And they still saw the Wisdom Room as well. That is so value.
DM gets smoked and he's like, wait a minute. He can charge. He's actually... I was about to say, is he going to charge? Nothing to say, because he was farming underneath a ward on that bottom side, but it's like he'll be able to get away in time. No real connections to him either. Although they do have the Bedlam up on Tiger's Dark Willow. Avoid that ward. Place down. No protect, nothing to say.
That's the mark. It's not going to matter though. DM wraps through the tree line. Should be able to bring him down unless the Echo's on DM. I think he sidestepped it.
He did.
Really nicely done. DM makes sure he doesn't get slept. That's the damage required to get the kill. OG rewarded with that as well. Very close to nothing to say, escaping, and then the three-man rotation being for nothing, but they'll be rewarded. And still, you've also got Yuragi farming, you got Seb as well. Like you said, this man a little bit more greedy in regards to the supports. It's definitely showing in the net worth.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, this is the DM that I was wanting to see, and I'm sure you're wanting to see, and I'm sure all the OG fans were wanting to see. There are a few memes going out about how They were promised the next 33, and they got the next Cuckoo for their team when he joined up. And you know what? I won't hear a bad word about Cuckoo or his Cuckoo Mancer, but DM is certainly performing in this one here. 2-0-3, and he's looking to get active again.
That he is. On to new they go. It's been such an impressive start out of DM. We've just seen how well they've been able to combine together with the Timber. Like, DM offers the stuns, BZM offers the damage, and that is only going to continue to ramp up as well. Kaya about to be completed here for BZM. You do have a pretty big item though for PSG.LGD. Blink Dagger completed from Planet. Your Scepter now as well for Nothing to Say, which offers you like a little bit of an offensive setup and also defensive against the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, so it really does feel like the Batrider, ET, and Lina could be the ones to be making plays now, right? They might just look to fix the lanes out, get a tiny bit more farm for themselves. Looks like Nothing to Say wants that Fiery Soul Aghanim Shard first before getting too much done. But you could certainly look to combo skills together with the Dual Scepter, with the Stomp, with the Lasso, and of course the Light Strike Array as well. Maybe just wanted his level 12 for that extra 200 damage on the Laguna Blade.
Look at this ward placement though. So much vision. Sees 4 heroes.
Vision wins games, and well,
it does.
YU Smile's going to take it away.
They want to fight. Looks like DM's actually going to come through the portal. So they're ready to go on OG. How do they set up a trap though? I mean, maybe PSG.LGD won't want to venture into this area because they, of course, have that information that they were scouted out. So yeah, they're going to go the opposite way. No one is home on OG on this right side of the map.
It's the exact 3 heroes that you want to be making the plays, though, right? You still need this BKB on Shiro as well as New. And obviously, Shiro is a lot closer being able to pick it up, and it means that he's going to be able to completely ignore Timbersaw, Willow, and Phoenix, and really have a much higher level of impact in these fights. So I think up until this point, they haven't felt super confident in being able to kill Yuragi, but once he's got that BKB, they're absolutely going to feel like they can take him down, but they're going to need to take him down twice because they're taking Roach.
Sam will hit, but it's a little bit too late for them to be able to react to this. Let's move over to OG. Second life to work with. What's the call now for them? Getting this Aegis. Are you looking to farm for a little bit, or can they go straight away to maybe get some objectives?
I think they could just get this tier 1 tower top to begin with. I think it's really important just to open up the map, considering you know how farm intense LGD are looking to try and play things. So just getting rid of one of those avenues to be able to defend the Ancient Camp, both the one in the main area as well as over to the left-hand side, is going to be pretty key. But I think they can maybe just even rest back a little bit further, right? You've almost got the Shadowblade picked up from Yuragi. You've almost got the Blinkens, I believe, for DM. He's a little bit away from it, but we mentioned all of those big single target spells that LGD have at their disposal. Just try and take them away as quickly as you can. And an Atos coming through for Tiger. Universal hero. Solid right click.
Well, what is the... I swear I've seen people go like Scepter Moonshard.
Yep.
Like yeah. Is that? Do we see like any utility
game.
items that Tiger needs?
Could maybe go into like a Lotus himself or a Lincoln's. Okay stats with the ultimate orb.
Okay. Let's see a fight breakout once again. They have an incredible observable that slips past the Sentry Planet. Gets the jump, but pretty quick reactions out of Tiger with a Shadow Realm. A little bit awkward. Still going to be able to find the connection nonetheless. Shiro pops a BKB for this. Won't be able to get the kill onto Seb with the dive away. Now with the BKB expiring, Shiro's in some danger, but New steps over, offers the control, mutes the Timber, and there's going to be no escape for BZM. Yuraga's going to have to stand idly by and watch, but they might just go for him next as well. A buyback needs to come out from Tiger. Act as a bit of a blockade, just stopping PSG.LGD from going more. Do they feel strong on OG? Can you really fight this? Maybe Planet caught out of position. They'll target down the Batrider first. DM's in some danger. The burst potential, it's not there from Nothing to Say. Even though he's playing with the Arcane Rune, doesn't have the spells to be able to bring down DM, so he'll slip out of danger. And OG, even off the back of the buyback, they will get that kill on the Batrider.
And I'm one of the biggest Nothing to Say fans that there are, but man just missed 3 straight Light Strike arrays in a row. You know, it's a little odd. They would have been able to secure at least the Aegis and probably another kill onto the Spirit Breaker there if he was just able to land them, but just slightly off the mark, even with that Aether Lens and the Eye of the Vizier.
Yeah, how does the Shadow Realm...
I don't know. I don't know how
Yeah,
it goes
okay.
off, and you know, it's kind of like how people could somehow get doomed after a TP or something like that. You know,
What do we say? Games in beta, something like that?
beta, almost 10-year anniversary.
Shiro?
Waiting for it.
Well, it's fine. BKB's back up.
And was there to test it if he did go for a bit of an extra dive.
Oh, again, Planet slipped by to get the Wisdom Rune. This time, he might...
It's level 12. He healthy there on the Batrider.
Ooh. We're gonna catch up to him? Yes, they will. This time he will not get denied. Or a planet. It's done its job though, and it's even more value at this stage of the game. You are more than happy with sacrificing your life, 3 heroes surrounding him. I mean, you see what they're getting out of the map. Nothing to say on why you smell mid. You've also got New that completely shoves out top, so maybe a wave that goes under the tower unless someone comes, and Seb will.
Yep, going into the Manta style as well for Shiro. Obviously, just allows a little bit of extra push, but more importantly, just another way to be able to get rid of the fiery spirits, way to get out of the brambles. Feels really nice for him to be able to pick that one up for himself, and it's not going to be too far away. I mean, that's the sort of play that you need to get. Once again, the Death on Planet, super worth it. Gets the Wisdom Rune, farms up an ancient stack, brings 3 heroes to the other side, and all of your cores are farming. So LGD very happy with the outcome there.
What do we make of the Silver's Edge build on Uragi?
I think they just want to get really active. You know,
Which
it's
they're
got
doing
about
now.
6 seconds left
Planet.
cooldown.
Lasso from downtown, you as well with the Doom. It's a lot of commitment. They know how important BZM is, but it means Uragi's going to have a free fight now. Over to the north, Shiro as well should be able to deal with the Supernova. OG, a disastrous fight for them as PSG.LGD. They're the proactive ones this time.
Whoop.
And they should be able to reap the rewards as well as a quick blink away. It shouldn't matter in the end. Shiro, he can chase him down. It's Tiger and Uragi against the world, but Tiger might be able to join his fellow brothers in the afterlife. They has any stuns, and they do not. So PSG.LGD does not matter that they're going up against the Aegis advantage. They are more than happy to take those fights.
Oh, my favorite neutral item is a support against these freaking TAs that like to 100 to 0 me. Planet only lives there because he's got a Gossamer Cape. It is the best item to have against a TA. You just completely shrug off all of that big damage that he's trying to get onto you with the Meld Strike. He blinked in to try and take him out. Might be DM that takes him out as well if he sticks around for too long. Back closer towards his tier 2 tower, but what a big fight for PSG.LGD. It's up flipping the script, getting the gold, going back in their favor, as well as the win probability.
And we're going to need to see OG address the single target spells that PSG.LGD have. Because that was just I mean, that was pretty much everything, to be honest. That was, what, Lasso, Doom, I think they even Lagooned BZM, right? So you need a way to address it. You see, he has the Lotus Orb queued up at the moment. Is this even going to be enough, though, for BZM inside the fight? Maybe someone has to position in front of him.
Yeah, maybe, but who? It's the real question, right? Like, it's still going to be a little bit of time until Uragi gets, like, a Black King bar for himself. But honestly, if he does, is it going to do all that much? You know, you've got a Bloodseeker that's hitting into you. You've got Lasso, you've got Doom. Still can look to take out a lot of your effectiveness. So, not sure if that's even going to be the item for them. You know, they might need to just sit back and be a little bit more passive with their own on OG. You know, get into that linkage, get into that really big item that's going to let them progress further.
Well, is that a concern then? Like, do we feel like OG have a lineup that can scale and match PSG.LGD as this game goes on?
Just because of the heroes that LGD have, things like the Nullifier that Uragi is eventually getting is really good. Like, it stops a lot of the damage that Shiro was able to do with that Blood Rage being dispellable, with being able to get rid of, for example, the Astral Spirit as well. Really slows down Why You Smile, makes him a whole lot squishier. I'm going to make a bit of a jump here onto Seb, but got those spidey senses tingling. Just been waiting for the nighttime to be able to get the jump, but they don't have the vision to be able to get that claim. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit until OG really feel like they've got that next layer of effectiveness. And my main issue is, I mean, the time is now for LGD. So they've got basically everything that they want. They've got a pipe, they've got a Midas, they're working into like achievers for themselves. Solar Crest is coming soon.
Whoa, DM, I don't know about that.
The space
That is
making in there.
crazy.
Yeah.
What?
That's it's a little bit suicidal, I would have to say. You know, there's making space, but they took it maybe a little bit of a step too far.
All right. Well, like you said, maybe some space. What they're doing is trying to set up top lane. Tiger has got Uragi starting to move on over. I don't know if new... Okay, maybe there is something going on with a random ward there. They see him? Yep, they do. Tiger.
Oh.
Channels up the Doom. You're probably just looking to run away now. Yeah, that initial jump goes wayward. Why Smile's going to be able to hold him down. So they see a freebie. Just a straggler caught. They even Shiro wanted to come through the portal just in case a further fight occurred. So, I mean, that's a dieback death timer. Nothing too crazy. 60 seconds, but... I mean, this game has really swung. OG, they made a great move to get that first Aegis, but ever since then, we've really seen none of their plays work out.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Shiro just went back and farmed a small camp right then when they had the siege creep wave up top. They've got a Dark Willow guaranteed dead.
Alright, might be able to get the kill into Seb. Never mind, Supernova is going to be forced to get used. He doesn't tick out with Blink up, surely. No TP though, he's going to have to make it all the way around.
He's just like, don't let them see me. He doesn't want to let DM get the charge off.
Oh, he's out.
Planet, don't use the Lotus Pool.
No
don't
way.
use it, don't get the greed. Okay. Would have revealed his positioning, but yeah, he's going to be able to get on out.
Ooh.
But now, I mean, even more, you can absolutely take a fight, right? No Supernova. This Phoenix is squishy as hell.
Roche is up in 10. So... And, alright, like you said, no egg for it. That was level 15 on Seb. We'll be spawning at that top side where you already have great vision set up for PSG.LGD. Unfortunately, the Spirit just left the pit as Roche spawned.
Radiant's bottom tower is
She'll be
under
right.
attack.
I'll get
She
it soon.
will. Okay, let's see. We spoke about some of the single target spells being a bit of an issue. Also hold that because Tiger is deep inside the jungle. Do they want to go for DM? You's got to jump. But OG, they're already set up prepared for this attempt. As DM, they're going to be able to turn. Doom is still used before the linkage, but what does the Doom really provide them? Maybe they're going to be able to counter up as Shiro looking to try and enter the middle of the team fight. You always put by them some time, but Shiro's just speedily catching up to them. DM still gets some separation, but that's still a big kill nonetheless. They're able to snipe BZM down at the bottom jungle. They'll catch up to Seb as well. The dive already being used. It was a great start to be able to catch out New without the numbers nearby, but PSG.LGD makes sure they bring everyone just in case a further fight was to break out. And well, they're going to be able to claim 3 kills as a result to that, and you know, if they want Roche or a tier 2 as well.
They'll at least get a glyph out of them. That'll be enough for them to be able to, may as well just stick around and claim it, right? While we still can for another 10 seconds, can we quickly have a look at the death summary for the Timbersaw, please? Because he got absolutely melted.
Jesus.
He took... Well, we don't see it. That's fine. Yeah, the Lina damage is really the one that we're wanting to see here. He took 2,500 damage in 1.5 seconds from this Lina. So, yeah, very cool, very balanced. This is what happens when you let Lina have a very strong lane, one of the best laners in Dota as it is, and they gave it to him, basically.
Are they going to take this fast enough? It's going to be close.
They got vision, though. They know they're coming.
They got egg, though. Everyone from OG's back up. Planet's going to act as a bodyguard.
Distraction plays once again.
Alright, they'll get the Aegis, and they're just going to get out as well. They want to cut their losses.
A little short on mana for the TP. Ooh, he actually had to give it the arcade boots over there on you just to enable Shiro to get on out. But nice play there. Once again from Planet being the sacrificial lamb. And we were casting some series earlier on where I'm like, you know, a lot of these deaths are tactical, but these are absolutely tactical. He's only had 5 so far this game.
I forgot the cheese though, Danog.
Oh, okay. They're just letting it mature.
No mature. It's stolen. It's OG's now. Shiro. Don't want to lose the first life already. He'll have enough time to activate the BKB, but the egg's going to be used, but it will not matter with all the heroes surrounding. Maybe DM can protect it. DM! No way! The egg goes off, stuns up Lina inside the lane. Hurricane sends her down to the south. Nothing to say is going to be protected for the moment. They weren't able to secure the kill as she evaporates Tiger. BZM, he flies on in, but He's going to bury his own grave as well, unless the Sunray has something else to say about it. Seb keeps BZM alive, but it's not going to matter, as they'll drag back Yuragi. New should have the finishing blow. Again, the yours Sev spellcasting has been perfect inside this team fight, but unfortunately for him, along with OG, it will fall just short as PSG.LGD will find the team wipe inside their own jungle.
Oh, that was so close for them to be able to get away. So much damage being pumped into poor old BZM on his Timbersaw. It's at the stage of the game where that Sunray really starts to take effect, but really only the Aghanim Shard on the Bloodseeker that was able to do a lot of the damage to him. All of that pure damage coming through with the Blood Rage. 1.8% of this tanky boy is just able to start to wreak havoc.
Seems like we got a bit of a game on our hands. So only a 4,000 net worth lead. OG are, still showcasing that they have some fight left, even though it has been a lot of PSG.LGD, the ones in the lead in some of the previous fights we've seen.
Silver linings. They still got the cheese.
Okay.
Tasty calcium coming their way. Yeah, Yuragi's still got it.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't show when he's dead at the top overlay.
Oh.
There we go. Now pops up. And okay, so he's gone Lincolns as well on Yuragi. We spoke about, the potential nullifier to be able to address the Blood Rage. But
they just want to live right now.
Yeah, that's the big thing. So now you kind of need to be looking at a way to address some of the single target. Planet's got a 4-staff. What's New going to be able to do? I mean, Hurricane's got a pretty long cast animation, right? So
not that long. He's been using it defensively a lot to be able to protect Nothing to Say. Like, past 3 team fights I've seen him just use it as that, like, preemptive 4-staff away from him. So I like the way that he's been using it so far, but yeah, like you said, they might need to just change up that sort of strategy, considering you're going up against Lotus and 2 Lincoln.
Oh, you can also just say screw it and go Sefta if you really want to on you. So we'll see indeed as OG. Smoke Shiro's a bit disconnected from the team.
The tanky
he's got
boy,
a pretty
though,
good position.
Get this Aghanim's, this Blood Mist off in these fights.
A wayward start to the fight. Tiger knows no fear. LSA once again will miss. What is the damage? And now they got the lasso as well onto Seb. Both supports killed off with no remorse to start the fight. Their health pool evaporates. And Yuragi's in a little bit of danger as well. Like he'll escape under the cover of the Indus.
I really still see China as like the absolute masters of teamfight, right? When I see the highlights of Extreme Gaming through the play-ins, they were doing similar sorts of things like that, just blowing people up 100-0 with like 2 or 3 heroes in the matter of 1 second. It's exactly what LGD have done to OG so far.
There's always been a key attribute to the region, right? Like if you could say anything about the China region, it would be their 5v5 team fight.
So overwhelming, and I mean, with that Aghanim Scepter picked up by the Bloodseeker, he's basically going to have a permanent 1200 shield for himself, provided that just get it slowly chipped away in the middle of these fights. So makes you a lot tankier, makes you far more effective against the likes of that Timbersaw, especially when you've got the Aghanim Shard for yourself as well.
Oh, damn, are you going for this? Okay.
Know that he's keen for it. He's done it once before.
Are there any big timings that we can kind of see come out from OG? At least for me, I mean, maybe Seb's last point in the Supernova would be helpful with how difficult it's been to kill the egg. Can you see anything else that might turn the tides?
I mean, it kind of feels like one of those games where... Is it the Terrorblade games that you say, where it's like one more item, and then I can do something?
Yeah,
one more item.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that for OG, right? Because, DM getting the Aghanim Scepter is fine, but LGD are really at this point where they just want to group up. So I'm not sure if that Aghanim Scepter is really going to have too much impact. It's much more of like a pick-off tool, and it's not like they've got necessarily the heroes to enable those, charges to convert into kills. Maybe if he makes plays around Tiger, but Tiger needs to like kind of read their minds and see where they're going to be next so that he can already be there to set up for the kill before DM even gets close.
Well, speaking of Tiger, he's away from the team, so we'll not be able to join them for this potential fight if it does break out. They got a glimpse of BZM, I think, in the lane. Seb's holding hands with him as well. Planet's going to jump. They get some information thanks to the Shivas. They're going to be able to react in time. All to the left side, they go from OG further inside the jungle. They're going to be able to set up a formation, though, around the outpost. Look at Shiro's jump. What is the damage again, dude? Blowing up multiple heroes. Jiragi's in danger now as well. There was just no hope for OG. They just buried themselves inside the meat grinder, and multiple fights will continue to break out simultaneously as Tiger tries to go through the rift. And meanwhile, they're chasing down BZM as well as PSG.LGD have blown this net worth lead wide out of control, and OG just have nothing to say about it.
Okay, I don't want to hear that. We've got Shiro looking to clean up. They're going for the dieback.
They should be able to get him unless Seb will prove to be a bit of an issue. It's going to be able to set up for the combo though, and look at the damage, nothing to say. Finds yours from the left side. DM now might be in some trouble. LSA just connects. He's got the status resist. Why not go for the easier pickings, being the bird? Seb goes down 90 seconds, 2 heroes without those buybacks, and this is going to be a lot of objective damage. It might just be game as well.
I don't think Shiro dropped below 95% HP in that last fight, and he was just dishing it out so consistently. 15,500 damage done by this Bloodseeker, really showing why it was such a premium to be able to secure that with the last pick of the first phase of the draft. Direct counter to two of the heroes that OG were going for, and it played around it perfectly. Made enough space. He might not show it on the score sheet, but Planet, he's the one that's made all this reality.
Uragi's getting a decent chunk of damage into nothing to say. What's going to be able to react in time. DM still on the prowl, but stop short. No detection, but it's not going to matter in the end. Full set of barracks mid and top. Going to go for the last set as well down bottom.
So he's hanging around a trap, but DM.
Where are you running, my friend? They got Shiro? Shiro, hang on. What's going on the right side? Shiro might die to the side blade. We've been cautious. Somehow OG almost gets Shiro, but you'll be able to lifesteal back up inside the jungle. So, man, we've just seen multiple fights be like, hey, what is the damage coming out? You got the Luna that like 2-hit someone. That last fight, top Bloodseeker, I think even 2-hit Seb as well. Like, these heroes are not lacking damage at all.
Even the pro players are kind of messing up their item purchases here. Nothing to say. He's like bored and unbored a few times to be able to get into this Octarine core. And he's got that plus the Aghanim's Blessing. So freed up an item slot for himself. He was fighting those past 2 fights on like 6,000 gold. So farmed, and there's still a place for the Lena.
He is huge, man. And he's got pretty lucky with neutral items as well. He had the Eye of the Vizier at tier 2. He's got the Psychic Headband now. So this guy is a monster. Is huge. Shiro is huge. New is also nearby as well. Oh gee, they're gonna try to take a fight in a similar position. But look at the initiation onto. There is no try. They show themselves for a second, and PSG.LGD, they are there to slam the door shut.
Minus Laguna Blade cooldown as well as the Octarine, so a 25-second cooldown for him to be able to nuke people. And would you look at that? It's the exact same cooldown as Flame Cloak. So every 25 seconds, you're basically going to be nuking people for about 1,300 damage. Very fun, very fun.
See what magic they got left in this game. I'll try and attempt with the Supernova, but I think all of PSG.LGD will turn to try and bring down the egg. And they'll do so successfully. And now get the remaining member as well. As the G's are dropped. And the boys on PSG.LGD are going to be able to start off their tour with a game victory over OG.
Very, very nicely done. That was a complete team performance for Mice coming through from PSG.LGD. And honestly, ironically, we were hyping up you at the start of that game. It was everyone else that really stood out a little bit more for me. So I'm very happy that he's got the boys to be able to give him that extra boost, to be able to take him to that next level. Obviously, LGD already qualified for TI, and a very nice showing to be able to start off this one as well. I'm a support player, so I'm always going to be favoring them, but I really don't think they get into that mid-stage of the game with those key items that they need, if not for Planet and Why You Smile, being able to A, make space, and Why You Smile just always there with the TPs. He landed so many like triple echo stops to allow Shiro to be able to get away.
This is the fight, right? This is the first fight that they had the ages, and then you lost the Dark. I think it was even just a 1-for-1 trade, and even Tiger bought back as well. Actually, no, they got BZM2 here, but ever since this moment, OG never got another foothold of this game.
No, and it really felt like they didn't do enough in those earlier stages, right? That's why I was crying out for someone that could make some sort of plays, and they tried it with the Spirit Breaker last overall pick. And honestly, DM was having a pretty good start to the game. It just felt like they missed their chances, you know? Like DM dying just that one too many times on the side lane, giving up a little bit of a silly death when he played pretty much perfectly up to that point. It really ended up costing them. There was such a low margin for error for OG this time.
Yeah. I really just wonder if it was just like, we kind of said it throughout that game towards the end, like China have always been a team that execute team fights incredibly well, and I think this game was really no different for PSG.LGD. Like it didn't look like it was many overall movement mistakes, or at least that we're able to see, or anything like that. We don't know like in depth from OG, but it felt like they were in a great position. Just some of the fights when LGD's win, sometimes that happens in games.
Gotta say, a few of these fights were incredibly close, right? What if BZM gets away entirely? What if they're able to clean up and get a triple kill there on the Timbersaw? Suddenly you're right back in this game. He would have rocketed up to second on net worth, only behind your own TA. And maybe they're in a position to be able, go for the extra tier 2 tower, to go for another tier 1, to be able to open up the space that LGD were ready to farm with. But it really didn't feel like LGD were farming all that much past like the 25-minute mark of that game. It was like, take a couple of neutral camps here and there, use the twin gates to be able to keep the lanes shoved out. But other than that, we're just going to ball up and go, because we've hit our timings and we know that it's going to be a little bit of time until you're able to deal with it.
Yeah, and they hit those timings in stride for PSG.LGD in this game one. A pretty convincing game. Of course, there was some moments early on, but once they're able to get those items and the abilities that they needed, then there was no looking back for them. So game one victory to be able to start off the Riyadh Masters for PSG.LGD, because of course we saw OG make it through the play-ins, but this is a long group stage now. Long group stage, a lot of days, lot of games, couple of days I should say as well. So there is still a lot more Dota yet to be played. We'll see what we have in store for us in game two after the break.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
الحياة لحن، ولأننا جزء من مقطوعة عظيمة تحركنا، تلمسنا، تصنع من لحظاتنا ذكريات بديعة. لأن الوجبة، التجربة، المغامرة يعطيك بعد جديد في هيلتون الرياض.
All new Honor Magic 5 Pro. Freeze even fleeting emotions in just milliseconds. Take marvelous night shots with lightning-fast exposure. The display reveals more details in bright areas with an astonishingly long battery life that just keeps going. The latest flagship chipset brings you exceptional performance. Unleash the power of magic Honor Magic 5 Pro.
Well, a good start for PSG.LGD with a game advantage in our first best of 2 of the night. Danok, what do we need to see a little bit different come out of OG? Because again, they had a pretty good showing for the first 20 minutes until they got that Aegis, and ever since then, game kind of slipped out of their hands. So what do we want to see a bit different from them in this upcoming game?
I think you can't really go for like this, I call it like middle ground Dota, where it's like, you're not playing super fast Dota where you just get like 2 items and start running at people. Or you're not this like super late game, you're just going to carry because you're the best hero at carrying in the game, like a Faceless Void or something. It's this weird like 3 to 4 item timing, weird little niche that I feel like either gets out carried or gets outpaced. And I think maybe that's where they need to kind of just pick a niche and go with it. But
Okay.
LGD, to their credit, it was a lot of individual skill that ended up getting them to this point. And I would imagine they're just going to go ahead and ban out the Enigma again in this draft. Because again, OG, they've only won the one game when they haven't had this Enigma in their arsenal.
All right. Well, we will see how the draft looks. I think I really liked their opening first phase where we saw the ET from PSG.LGD responded with the team. And like we were saying, those heroes, BZM looks incredibly good on the Timber. You said it's one of DM's, if not his best hero, definitely up there with top 3. And then we also mentioned like Phoenix is a very good way to deal with the Elder Titan. So I did like the first phase a lot from OG, the draft as well. So we'll see what adaptations they have. This time they're going to be on the Radiant side playing with first pick. PSG.LGD will be on the Die side playing with second pick as well.
OG chose second pick, I believe. So OG chose Radiant. Took a little bit of time to make their first ban, OG. 20 seconds out of the reserve time, oddly enough. And would you look at that, it's just a snap ban of the Enigma. Why not, right? Like, they're just going to go back to this well every single time that you give them the opportunity to. The thing that I do like a lot about what LGD have mixed up as well, I'm going to talk about New again. LGD basically never played Darkseer until New came in. And I don't think they played it at the Bali Major either. But he has just been spamming that thing in pubs. He just wants there to be no holes in the draft to be able to be exploited. Like, Director 8 has just told him, you just need to give me all the tools to be able to formulate the best draft and have the confidence that you're going to be able to play and deliver it, and we'll win this game. Like, there's a reason that he is one of the GOATs of Dota, Zhao 8.
What do you think is going on with this Darkseer hero as well? Because I know Malik on Quest is having a lot of success with it, at least like on day 2 of play-ins. I think I saw that he'd played it like 4 out of 5 games or 3, whatever. That was a ridiculous, like he'd pretty much played it in almost every game and had a lot of success on it as well. And I think other people are starting to prioritize it too.
Could be just a little bit of rise of like more of the melee supports coming into prominence. Like we were mentioning during the play-ins that we saw a little bit more of the Tiny, we saw more of the Clockwork. Occasionally we saw a Tusk as well start to come out. But also, Darkseer is good against melee cores, right? And if you're going to remove the Medusa and the Morphling from the pool, then you basically have 2 less range cores that you're just going to immediately go to as your first option. So why not just pick a Darkseer that's going to much more likely have a good level of effectiveness?
Do we like this response from PSG.LGD going for the Undying Storm Spirit, knowing that more than likely the Lesh will follow with the Io?
Don't hate it. I mean, you just need to make sure that you're like withstanding a lot of what the Lesh is able to do in the early game. And Undying, you just plant down that Tombstone. Lesh wants to be running at you. He doesn't want to be stopping to be able to take this one out. And OG, they're actually going to go a different directive altogether, going for the Puck instead. Really good counter to the Storm. Of course, Undying doesn't have any of that that lockdown to be able to provide. So looks like OG are really just setting this game up for BZM. Is doing a lot of the... He's at least clicking the buttons. I'm not sure if it's going to be Misha or him, really, with the final decision with a lot of these picks.
5 seconds
Well,
remaining.
if it is him, which I'm pretty sure it's not, but he gives himself one of his best heroes as well with the Puck. So, see what else they want to try and ban. We've seen the rise of Lion a little bit. I know Gladiators have been really the ones that brought it to the forefront. Are there any other heroes that we need to be considering now to try and minimize the effectiveness of the Puck?
I mean, you've already picked the Storm Spirit, right? So it can't be something like an Ember or anything like that. would they consider an Earthshaker just to be able to get that stun from afar? I wonder if OG might even think about banning it, just because in the right hands, it certainly can make Puck's life a whole lot more challenging. You're able, of course, to combo together with a Storm Spirit very well in terms of lockdown. Also gives you a lot of team fight, which, of course, very effective against an IO too. And both Planet and New are very capable of playing it.
I like the Sky ban a lot. I think this is something that we see Planet pick up. And of course is a hero that offers you a lot of control and burst for the Puck.
Plays a bit of Rubik and Hoodwink and even Spirit Breaker as well, if you're thinking of those as potential counters to the Puck.
I think, yeah, Rubik definitely is one that I feel like you'd be looking at for PSG.LGD. We'll actually even see what OG try and ban out here. Do they want to go with another support though? Currently 3 out of the 4 bans have been supports.
I'm really looking at what they're going to pair together with this Aya, right? Because both Seb and Tiger can play it. But when I think DM, at least with the way that he's been playing on OG so far, he hasn't really been that person to pair together with like a Primal Beast in lane, you know, one of the best pairings for an offlaner with the IO. We haven't seen him play the Slardar yet. It doesn't feel great with a Doom. It doesn't feel great with something like a Tide or a, you know, these sorts of things that he's been playing in the past. LC, he could play it, but again, doesn't feel great. Doesn't fit where he's been doing it. So I wonder if they're just going to go back to the well of like, I think I've seen Yuragi been playing a bit more of the Muerta lately. Maybe it's going to be like an Aya Muerta pairing.
I still don't have the greatest read on Muerta and when kind of that hero needs to come out.
When they don't like buying BKBs and when they got high armor, pretty much. And low-ish lockdown.
Alright,
Also,
got a Coddle.
Come online. Yeah, we do. I mean, this is a Planet staple as well. Also, another one of the pluses is that if this was going to be a Tiger IO, it takes the Coddle away from Seb, one of his top 3 heroes that he's been playing in recent times as well. So, a little bit of targeting, I think, specifically coming through from PSG.LGD here with their picks and bans, with the Enigma, with the Veno, and the Keeper of the Light all being taken away. This is really something that Seb in particular has just been going back for over and over again. This is the sort of game where I would love to see something like a Batrider come out for Seb. I feel like it fits relatively well with this draft, right?
Sorry, say that again. I was thinking of a point to bring up.
Oh, I was just thinking maybe a Batrider this game wouldn't be horrible for OG, but with the Visage it makes it a little bit more awkward. Could you Faceless Void?
I was going to say Bristle and LGD. I see Coddle Bristle against the Visage. And LGD, they will go back for some unconventional carries, especially if it looks pretty decent. I don't think Puck is an issue against you as well, so...
5 seconds remaining.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's a potential. I like the monkey pick though for OG. Of course, Seb staple. It gives you some ways to initiate fights, to then get that relocate in, which is really nice. Of course, Yuragi can play it as well, so there is definitely that flex there for OG.
I'm still thinking, like, what do they actually want to go here on LGD versus Shiro to be able to contest this? They're not revealing Shiro's hero just yet. Instead, the new Mars. I mean, I think of when I think of the Mars, I really think of back when he was known as BAB. I was thinking Magnus, I was thinking Mars, and recently he's really been picking up the Primal Beast, which I'm a little shocked that we haven't seen from either of these teams so far. Less so from OG, they don't really play it, but LGD, absolutely nothing to say in new. Big advocates of the hero. Should be able to do fine enough against the Monkey King, right? Spear him away if he gets incredibly aggressive. Of course, got the Undying, the Coddle as well, if you wanted to go like a Blinding Light combination together with that.
Yeah, no, that's a good lane. That's definitely a good lane here for PSG.LGD. Nothing they need
do ban that Void as well. It's still a really good Faceless Void game. Lots of ways to be able to catch the old Storm Spirit.
10 seconds remaining.
Gotta remember Seb Monkey King, right? He's Grandmaster on the hero for a reason. He can make those things happen that you don't quite expect.
I guess then, if that's the case, like what carry are we looking for to try and pair with the IO? Because they don't have that pairing. I mean, maybe you could think of like a your classic Luna Visage, but then I think you're going a Luna up against a Mars, which can be a little bit difficult.
Can't be ranged
Maybe
now, basically. So
maybe
what do you
Marcy could be a consideration. Marcy Visage, but you are very, very timing related. Then
would not hate a Chaos Knight. I think IO Chaos Knight is a really solid pairing. You're a lane dominator. It's an extra stun to be able to kill a Storm Spirit. I wouldn't hate it. And you're a natural, like, blink dagger buy. Like, you can blink in, then the IO tethers in onto you afterwards. Find a quick stun onto someone, whoever it is. And it's a quick-ish timing draft, right? Like, Puck out-carries the Storm Spirit until Storm gets, like, a BKB, which he doesn't really want to do. Visage, level 12, you can take towers pretty quickly. Monkey King, early-ish impact. IO, similar sort of thing. And CK, really all you need is level 15. You could potentially end the game. I don't think it was picked or banned at all, actually, at Bali, though, so maybe people just think that it's not so good hero.
I feel like if anyone's going to be playing, that'd be like Skeeter or Duraccio. Mainly Skeeter, but if they're not playing it, then maybe the hero's not in position they'd hope it to be in to be picked. But sometimes you need to go for something like that when a lot of carries are banned out, which they currently are. There's not many options for OG, so maybe they feel like there's a better route for them to go for a support.
Sven. Okay. I was holding out a little bit of hope for the anti-mage. Wouldn't have been a bad game for it.
What is the call now from PSG.LGD? You see the Sven. A lot of armor. Gonna have to go through. Need to consider about some sustain for the lane as well, up against the Visage and the Monkey King.
Do they Muerta? Wouldn't hate it. You've got an Undying to stand in front of you. You've got another Silence for the Puck. You've got Deadshot as well. You've got a way to be able to get through that tanky Sven. You're an early-ish BKB buyer. You've got lots of heroes that are able to make space for you. Okay, this is fine too. There's lots of ways to be able to rip through a lot of these targets.
I think Coddle TA is a very underrated pairing as well.
Probably gonna be not for the lane.
No, not for the lane. Yeah, no, not for the lane at all. I just mean a lot of the early game and just the. Mainly, it helps you take Roche pre-Deso, because then you can get triple meld with the Chakra, so you don't need Deso to get that. Maybe it's a couple minutes earlier, and even inside the fights. I mean, if you can synergize the Chakra for the double meld, you're pretty much killing anyone in a couple of hits off the back of that. So, I like the pick for PSG.LGD. Of course, it's a classic counter versus the Puck, but a lot of that is the lane. As the game's short, still feels really nice as well. So he's going to have a good time there. I do like the draft a lot from LGD.
I do too. I'm interested to see how OG are going to be able to respond to this. Like, Visage 0 armor, or 1, I forget which, to be able to start things off. So maybe Shiro's going to be putting himself in a position to be like melded right where the lanes are going to be meeting. I wonder if they're going to scout out that potential sentry ward play that he tried last time and just be in a position to kill him this time around. I also want to see either Planet or Why You Smile be really aggressive in making sure they use a smoke early on to put a ward up around the area that OG are going to be making stacks for this Sven inside of that Ancient Camp area, because he needs them. You're playing with an IO, and this is a draft that needs to accelerate. You don't want to wait for those BKBs to come online, because then it really does feel like it's Sven 1v5 against everyone, Puck, Visage. They're not going to feel all too effective.
Kind of feels like both sides have a very similar carry, right? You just mentioned the Sven wanting stacks. I'd say the TA is very similar as well. It's a hero that thrives on having ancient stacks, jungle stacks, and you've got like a kind of a similar timing where it's like maybe you could put an item here or there, but really let's just say like Blink, BKB, Deso, maybe Dragonlance can take one of the other items out for the Sven. Kind of similar, right? Echo Saber, BKB, maybe you put an extra +1 in there too. So I would say this is a beautiful thing about both these heroes that have that innate farming mechanic, so they can come online at a pretty early rate. It's just going to come down to how they're able to set up the lanes. And I think for PSG.LGD, I'd like them to start with the tri-lane with the Coddle going top and playing with like Blinding Light with Blood Grenade. I think that is a very good way to be able to slow down DM. Like you said, this is a hero that doesn't have a lot of armor at all. Seb says for Mr. Bonkers. So I'd like to kind of see them start with a tri-lane, but we'll see if they go for that or not.
Yeah. For those that aren't aware, Bonkers is the manager of OG, Mr. Alan Cook, lovely fellow.
Just doxed him. Cool.
I mean, it's on his Twitter, so calm down.
What up, Matt Joyce?
Yeah, that's right. Matthew to you.
Sorry, Dad.
If you have a look at all of OG's profile pictures as well, they're all pictures of bonkers in various forms of like Zoom calls or just Facebook pictures. So it's always fun to be able to see that sort of thing.
I saw that before the game. I was wondering what it was. I saw a couple that looked like him, but there was also a couple I'm like, I don't know if that is him or not.
It's all bonkers. It's all bonkers. I think Bryn was even teaching the players how to say like, "Hi, my name is Alan Cook" in Arabic, so just in case they get interviewed.
Okay. For bonkers. Let's go with that. Like, what are you up to? They got a glimpse of Planet? I've no... How? What? Okay. Somehow we saw Planet. Don't know how. Have a huge fight. There's no Mars here, so it's going to be 5 heroes for OG.
Triple
a collapse
decay.
inside the river. Why are you smile though? Like you said, with that decay... Wait, Shiro?
You're on your own, buddy.
Shiro? Hang on, where did he go? Like, all the boys are on the right, OG are on the left. Shiro's like, I can go in right. The team's going to tank up some spells, and no one followed him.
Yeah, there's no blinding light. There's no spear that's going to reposition you. You've got that on your team. So yeah, I think you just got a little bit too keen there. Good way to be able to start things off if you're OG, of course. Just by going over to Uragi as well. So going to get him into those early items. Start to enable the taking of stacks. So we did say that they are similar-ish cores, right? The Sven and the TA blink in, try and blow someone up. And they're both big stack takers, but you got to say LGD have a far better position for it, being able to make those stacks for you. The Keeper of the Light able to do it from relative safety.
Might get
Tiger
tight, yeah.
might not be safe.
Ooh, gonna go into new. Did he misplay that? Do you not hold blinding light for when tether's used? It should be.
Maybe he thought he could kill him.
Yeah, but I don't know if it breaks it. I thought it did, but regardless, a lot of damage onto Tiger. He's going to be able to repair it. And we also got a kill up top as well. So we saw before the lane started, Seb tried to jump Why You Smile and get some continued harass. But because of all the decay stacks that Why You Smile had, he was able to just turn and beat onto Seb. So that harass before helps prep the kill that he was able to find.
And there was a double wave as well up on this top side. Like they were basically, again, doing the classic thing against an Undying, right? Just do not lane against it. Just stay as far away as possible. Make sure that the real benefits of this hero aren't as prominent. Well, unfortunately for them, they still ended up giving the kill. And now Shiro's got a ton of farm just at his complete disposal.
So do you want to go back to the mid lane? I know we spoke about it a little bit throughout the draft, saying Puck versus Storm, very Puck favored. And of course it's, say, let's just say top 3 for BZM's hero. You could even argue for first place, but would you say this is a game where BZM can actually take over? Because what is he worried about? There is nothing they can do versus a first phase Puck.
No, there's not, but a late-ish, they absolutely can. You know, you're playing against a Keeper of the Light, one of these position 4s that is able to pick up a good amount of farm. And we've seen position 1s go a little bit more like Scythe of Vice oriented. I think we could see that from both Planet as well as Shiro this game.
I like you bring that up because I've always been a really big fan on like mid TAs against the Puck going for the little bit of control, whether it be the Bloodthorn, whether it be the Hex. Even previously, the Meld hit bash felt much better than the Refraction instances, so I like you brought that up as well. Until then though, BZM is going to have an incredible free game. So let us see what he's going to be able to do on the Puck as well. He's currently off to a pretty good start, 15-2 compared to the 15-4 as well, from Nothing to Say. Maybe we even see the Storm go for like an Orchid. That's something we brought up yesterday. Is a bit more of a possibility now for the Storm Spirits.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got a Coddle to be able to play with, right? With that Chakra Magic, so you really need to rely on as much of that mana regeneration as you did previously. So you could potentially look to delay the Kaya. In terms of BZM's rotation, really looking to see him go top, most likely, just to be able to connect through with DM. That Soul Assumption is going to do a lot of work inside of a Dream Coil, whereas an IO Sven, you don't really see the damage super early on in the laning phase when Puck's looking to make the most use out of those early Dream Coils.
What's going on mid lane? Early movement out of Seb. Might be in a lot of danger. do have Planet nearby. Not much that he's going to be able to do. Nothing to say he's got a big stick. And now Wire Smile's going to be in as well. And all of a sudden, PSG.LGD, they'll get the first kill. Unfortunately, don't find the second, but I mean, just the perfect placement there from Plenty. It went to make some stacks, saw that he had to swing on over, and they TP in from Wire Smile, because he also doesn't need to be top with the current lane setup. And Visage against a TA, what are you going to do versus this hero in the lane?
Just keeping track of why you smile as well. He had a quick look over to see what the situation was like inside of the ancient camp area for OG. There's nothing stacked so far, so he knows that he's going to have this little bit of a period where he's fine to just go back to the lane, make sure Shiro picks up a lot of that farm for himself. And he's even making a pull off with the worst camp for pulling in the entire game, the Kobolds, as Shiro might be in a little bit of danger actually.
He's in a lot of danger. Never mind, not a lot of danger. He's got 8 Wand and Healing Lotus as well.
So dramatic lately.
Sorry. I didn't check the inventory, but obviously they did. They saw that, or they just did the calculation like, yeah, we're lacking a little bit of damage, so let's back on up. We are now once again getting to the stage where we need to be looking at some mid lane rotations, with the power runes spawning along with the level 6s getting picked up pretty shortly from Nothing to Say in BZM.
Man, this is what I'm talking about with New. Can we have a look over at net worth, please? Because he has been left solo in this lane for a lot of the time. He hasn't gone a Vanguard or anything like that, and he's top net worth right now against a dual lane. Like, this is crazy how this man is good. Eye off on the tombstone, not wanting to give them any free gold.
It was a very interesting read from New and how to play this lane. He went for a 0-2-1 build. Is now going to put 2 points in the spear, so like we said, we had the opportunity to cast this guy at least when he was on Vici Gaming, the Division 2 run from them, and then also in the lead up to TI as well. And people got to see it at the Bali Major. Like, this guy is the real deal. He is going to be kind of that next position 3 that people like, hang on a second, like this man can take over games, and currently there's kind of that vacancy for position 3s. You got Ace on Gaming Gladiators, you got 33 on Tundra. You just, everyone says at the moment, like, offlane is one of the most vital roles.
Oh, for sure, and he's been doing it for the past year. It's really only been this tournament for Extreme that JT has really looked to step it up a little bit, but he's always been that guy.
What's going on? Do they need 2 supports to try and steal a Wizard Room? Maybe it's a decoy. Tiger, maybe they scout out Tiger and like, oh, the other guy's not here. But no, Seb is. They're bringing 3 members to stop him. No way. And he got it. Oh, Seb.
Worth. Well, they did get rid of his ward that's scouting out a lot of these ancient stacks. I mean, Puck is one of those heroes, as well as Sven, once he gets into the God Strength. It is somewhat capable of invading and taking it away, but you've got to be so on point with that rotation, right, to be able to make that happen. It's just, like, much easier for even the Coddle to take his own stacks, right? And he's looking to go into an early Urn of Shadows, potentially the Spirit Vessel. Honestly, it might just be the Urn that he sticks with. I know he's going up against an IO, but you just want that extra little bit of damage over time from Visage.
Shiro in some danger, but the Familiar's out of DM. BZM's going to start to rotate in as well. Fortunately for Wise Smile, it's not enough to repair some of the damage that has already been dealt. So nicely done. They're going to be able to slow down Shiro's game.
Felt like that Soul Rip did absolutely nothing to the TA.
Bottom, are they going to try on you? He's very tanky. Ooh, even drops an arena just defensively, feeling like, I mean, there were Familiars coming over, so we'll help him get out of danger. But this is on cooldown now for 80 seconds. Doesn't have the greatest mana as well.
Wait, did they take the Ancient Stack? Who took the hard camp at least?
The Storm did.
You sure about that? Because when he walked past it, he pinged it. So.
Well, I saw him taking it with the Coddle, and then
maybe he's just pinging the Sentry Ward, saying, "Hey, it's."
Oh, my Ancients. Well, they had a ward. They're well aware.
They know there's no arena as well.
Though. And really nicely done from OG. And like you said, I mean, no arena, so that's kind of set up from that previous attempt down on the Mars down bottom. You force the arena, or you get the kill, then you invade straight away.
I mean, that's a good way to be able to get around the fact that you don't have good ancient stackers, right? Just take the enemies. Why You Smile's been able to go towards that area and take the Watcher for themselves. But yeah, nice little injection of gold coming through there for Yuragi. So good call, whoever was the one to ping that one out. I'm sure it was Seb. Like, he has been really heavily prioritizing getting a lot of wards around that area.
He was just sending familiars continuously through the rift. Actually going to continue to play down bottom now, as we do see a bit of a split across the map. Like, some of the lanes have started to dissolve. You got Tiger now playing with the puck. He's even forcing out some rotations from Planet. They're going to go for this. Nothing to say. He's even got Why You Smile here, so they see a freebie onto Tiger. Oh, of course he missed. He'll still get the kill in the end. Let's commit a little bit more mana, but I guess that's not too much of a concern, considering you do have Planet.
Really doesn't feel that worth it, though, to be able to commit all this, right? Was that 2 TPs? No, Undying held his. Maybe they just really want to be in a position to be able to play around the power runes, just to make sure that the puck doesn't make the most out of this really strong early game potential to have. Smoke coming through.
No turn.
Back of making sure puck doesn't have that. Yeah, they're moving down towards the bottom side. I mean, I guess it is important to be able to take away this tower just to prevent a lot more of those rotations, to be able to, like, invade your Ancients. They probably still just want to build up a few more stacks on LGD. So they're using you as a little bit of bait here. But I wouldn't hate a move onto the Visage either, especially considering... Oh, Draghi.
It's an early arena. Gonna have enough time to be able to react, but it might be a bit too late from BZM. Lands of Silence. Yuragi's gonna try and turn with the God Strength as well. Might be in some danger, though, with Shiro coming through the portal. Seb's still got a couple trees to play with. Newt guesses correctly, though. I mean, it's just one tree or the other, so they'll predict it. It does mean Shiro's in some danger, with DM dragging the Familiars down. Gonna get out of range, so tries to move back inside the lane. Refraction's gonna protect him for the moment. They might go for New instead. But another spear, he's back up for the Mars. Can he get some separation? The Soul Assumption swipes away the remaining health. But Why You Smile? Now here's a big issue. Tombstone will now be addressed, but the damage has been dealt, and Nothing to Say is back alive. It's OG overextended, and they're going to be condemned for that, as Nothing to Say can turn to BZM. This might be a bit more of a slippery kill, considering the orb is still to work with, but the mana refresh from Nothing to Say means that he can jump over the tree line. And in the end, what a disaster from OG. It looked good to start, like you bring a couple members down to stop the dive, but they just went way too far.
I mean, Shiro just lives at the end of all of that, and now he's up to level 10. I mean, this is all the TA really wants, right? You want those levels. You want to make sure that you've got, Refraction being able to be cast while you're disabled. You just don't want to get 100 to 0'd. It really feels like it's going to get to this point where Shiro becomes straight up unkillable. He's already got the supports behind him, but he's topping the net worth. He's going to make sure he's the one to be able to take this Ancient stack this time around, and it was all off the back of that new bait on the front lines.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Just even standing in front of a tier 1 tower there. Yeah. Alright.
What are you going to...
How do
not
you...
taking too much damage?
How do you defend your Ancients now? With a ward already there and a tier 1 tower that's going to get claimed? Planet top lane. Actually, we'll hold that. Seb does start with the relocate. They're going to try and protect him, though. Planet will go down before the response. See, maybe a free kill onto Seb. Nothing says going to be cautious, though. He doesn't have the chakra magic to play with.
Oh, they leave Yuragi here. Maybe they're just thinking that, you know what, the only reason he's done that is because Tiger is close enough by, and he is, to be able to assist with this one. So at least with this God Strength, they should be able to get both the Ancients and the tower.
Good positioning.
Nothing to Say is low-ish.
Very good position from Seb. Actually going to still make the attempt. Yu does whatever he can to dissuade with the arena. That's going to buy enough time for Nothing to Say. And once again, it's looking like a disaster fight for OG, as they'll stop Yuragi from escaping, dragging him back with the Vortex. Might be able to get some other members out at least. BZM shouldn't be too concerned with the spells on cooldown, but they're just... what do you do when you go into an arena that sets up for the Tombstone to go uncontested? Then you got zombies chasing you down. It's like these early game fights are just looking so crisp for PSG.LGD.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Yu is just next level with this play. I mean, when you think some of the best Mars in the world, he is certainly at the very top, and he's just already got a Blink Dagger 14 minutes in. It's like with Seb dying in that past fight as well, he's not going to be in a position to be able to yoink away that Wisdom rune. like Shiro will be able to claim it for himself, in addition to just making another stack for himself too. And yeah, you mentioned the Observer Ward that YU Smile had placed down. It spotted out a few of these stacks that are starting to build up on OG's side of the map. So I really wouldn't be surprised in about 20 seconds or so if LGD don't look to make another play. Nothing to say. He's got status to be able to make plays with full mana. He can potentially buy the Staff of Wizardry towards that Orchid. You're going to have that Blink Dagger and Arena of Blood up and available once again.
Yeah, I don't know how you play the map now for OG. I think Seb just... You know, maybe it's on him, which he's currently doing, to play some of the side lanes, but look at New. Like, instantly on the jump in with the Primal Spring. Spells are a little bit off the mark, so he has to use the Arena to get the kill. It will make him work for it in the end. I don't think Seb's going to get away as long as they continue with the damage up. So, I mean, that's what you got to do, though. You're going to have to play a side lane, try and just cut some of the waves, because currently with a tier 1 down in mid lane and bottom, and with how easy it is for PSG.LGD to rotate, like, heroes are going to die from OG. There's just no other way around it.
It's also part of the reason why I was really wanting to see OG pick up Batrider a little bit more, because then Seb would be able to make these sorts of plays without actually being as in danger himself. I know Monkey King has the potential to be, you know, dancing around the tree line as, well, look at that. LGD just going to take that Roshan the second that it moves up towards the top side. There's the triple meld you were talking about as well. So Roshan has 0 armor. Isn't that nice and fair?
No
He's
storm.
Just like paper.
Pretty good ward as well that scouts out Planet. They got to go quick, though. Ragi's going to try and address the Tombstone with the orb will give them vision, but it's a little bit too late. It's a pretty good stun, though. Uragi's going to try and follow up with this, but they just shrug off the initial round of spells. And now with nothing to say, moving over the right side, they're going to be cautious. They still want to take the fight on OG. Arena's up in 10 seconds as well. Dancing in. Oh, they got the connection. It chucks out a spear, a Hail Mary to try and catch out Seb. Meanwhile, though, they're able to get the first life out of the Templar Assassin, but they have committed so deep inside LGD's territory. Is it going to pay off in the end as Yuragi standing strong, but they'll get the relocate out. Trying to cut their losses as best as they can. Is BZM? They will not find him as well. So you get 2 kills, get the Aegis as well.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to have him stick around to potentially allow the puck to get back to safety. That's just, again, LGD instantaneous movements, right, around their timings. They know they've got a good start. They know they've got this net worth. They had the Desolator at the start of that fight as well, so they knew that they were super capable of taking that Roshan incredibly quickly before OG are able to get there. They still get the Aegis. Sure, you lose it immediately, but it did its job. It just extended this net worth lead even further, and you're not lacking the potential to be able to take a lot of these towers. And now, Nothing to Say actually has the Orchid to be able to make plays with on the puck, so EZM, he's going to be in a lot more danger.
And an Arcane Rune with it.
Just use the Illusory Orb. They see him as the key question. Does anyone have an Observer Ward? They don't.
They got a glimpse of him.
He sees it.
And there's the Orchid. And that's a dead man. This is what we were bringing up earlier on. You know, this could be the item of choice for the Storm Spirit. Meanwhile, New as well.
Gone for more.
Oh, that's so unlucky. I mean, they'll get the kill. What is that, dude? The zip breaks the tree, so then when they try and spear him up, it just goes straight past. Again, it doesn't matter. Get the kill, but man, this net worth lead continuing to get out of control. 10,000 now from PSG.LGD. They've got a creep wave.
They can even set up on Seb. The Observer Ward spotted him. Oh, just a little bit late there. First mistakes of this game. He's going to look to try and cut that next wave. They've got the Glyph as well, so they'll be able to play this one out a little bit. And they're going to need to do it by more than just a bit. As they end up getting Seb. It'll be another sacrifice that he's giving himself up for, just to make sure that Yuragi is able to truly feel impactful in this game. But until he gets that BKB, I really don't think he is going to. Right? This does feel like the 1v5 sort of game that he's going to need to try and do, because they just haven't taken enough objectives off the back of this early Visage, and that's one of the big strengths of the hero.
I'm going to TP down bottom, but that trap setup by the medium cam was able to scout him out, so they have full awareness of what's going on. See what the call is going to be from PSG.LGD. Of course, Arena down for 40. Why Smile might angle his life. Also just, he says, screw it, I know you got a ward here.
Feeling very tanky.
Seb?
Oh, Seb.
What? Did that Remnant really seem? I guess so. 8 deaths. Oof.
Remnant. Not sure if it was like maybe a zombie following him as well. I don't know. And this is it, right? Like the Monkey King isn't quite as busted as it used to be in terms of the tree dance and all the interactions involved with it. So Bat Rider just feels like much of a safer pick, right? But you go for comfort, especially when you're playing with someone standing in like Seb.
And what do you do across the map for OG? Because we were talking about, like, Sven is a hero that does not play well from behind. Like, you are quite often in the position that the Templar Assassin is in regards to the net worth.
Yeah, I mean, to me, OG's last, it's going to sound dramatic, but last chance, unless you get a free kill onto Shiro, which is a possibility. I mean, you've got the Blink Dagger on the Sven. Top of the coil.
Oh, look at New's positioning! Come on, dude. He's just ready every single moment. There's PSG.LGD. They bring everyone. Every single person answers the call of the team fight, and Shiro is chilling on full health.
See, those are the things that, like, what we're talking about when we talk about you, right? He's just in position, and it must make your life so easy, just knowing that your offlaner is going to win the lane or at the very least draw it, and he strikes this perfect balance between, like, you know, sacrificial play for the team while also making sure you're getting your own farm. How many Mars do you see second on net worth at 20.5 minutes into the game? Like, this is the period where it really starts to fall down the fact that he is not. He is making plays consistently.
I think he plays it, like, to the level of a Mar. Yep. I really like the Marses that go for kind of like the high lane dominating, like, just stats build where you phase, double braces, soul ring, you just play the lane, try not to get kicked out, you kick the carry out, and then you still get a pretty good timing out of the blink, like 13 minutes in, nothing crazy, and it's just going from there as well. I mean, I think you brought up JT earlier, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure yesterday JT went like a freaking Midas Mars, and I saw like Satanic and something else in the build. There's some crazy stuff you can do with this hero. I'm glad it's coming back into play as well.
Glad it's coming back. I'm so glad that we're only going to get 2 of these China teams at TI, especially since they're all hitting their form at just the perfect time of year. But a good showing at Riyadh will certainly do a lot to be able to allay everyone's concerns that, you know, dead region Keck W.
The people are so dramatic. Dead region, what are they? Yeah. So dramatic. You had a couple of... start of the year wasn't good. Relax,
You're allowed to have a little bit of a down period. So the thing is that I liked that movement that OG made to try and make that kill happen, right? Because, yeah, you hadn't necessarily reached like a big timing for yours. The bigger deal is that LGD, they're going to look to end the game around this second Roshan. They took it right at the, well, see you later. Was this death number 10 for Seb, sadly? 0, 10, and 4. The danger for mine is that you've nearly got a butterfly for TA. You took Aegis at 15 minutes, so it's going to be up at like 23 or so. And you've also got a Storm Spirit that's now got a BKB. So you're really not worried about the puck anymore. So what do you do? What do you do against this? I feel like they're just far too far behind, unfortunately. So, let's go radio cast.
As we know, we are not missing it. I don't know what to say. We're back in action.
The shortest radio cast of all time.
Perfect timings. We might get back with a fight that breaks out. And you on the high ground. Pretty good speed timing as soon as Yuragi activates the God Strength. Blink's going to be up in a couple of seconds. Looking nothing to say his positioning, though. Gives him a lot of information to work with. He's got the shield rune too, so it's pretty survivable in the middle of the team fight. Arena's going to be used to try and protect him. Nothing to say. Wants to deal with the eye, which can then enable the kill onto Yuragi. As he's just going to be forced to try and TP up with the BKB. Will it cover the full duration? It will indeed, but New just gets the spear before the jaunt away. Man, I can't stop saying this guy's name. Another incredible fight from Kim and the boys on Dire.
It's a new day, yes it is, and he is really putting in a solid performance. 19k net worth lead. 23 minutes in, and they don't even need to wait for that second rush that I was talking about. If you're going to take fights as dominantly like that, with controlling the power runes, with playing around that BKB timing on the Storm Spirit, so that you have no cares about this puck, and are you really all that worried?
They seem? I think they did. Yeah, they did indeed. I don't know how we read that. I guess just knows how the Monkey King's looking to try and play up inside the base to act as some defense. But yeah, this one is looking mighty over. 7% for OG.
A little bit generous. To be perfectly honest, LGD have just played this one perfectly. They have been using DM's birds to be able to keep the wave shoved in, so backdoor protection's going to kick in, stop them from taking anything more than this, but really, there's nothing stopping them from just moving across the map. You do not have a TA trap in either of the Roche pits, so they're not going to know immediately when it comes back up, but maybe that's just going to be the next farming pattern for Shiro. Just walk on by, drop a trap in there, you know that it's going to be spawning around top soon.
I think they got a glimpse of Shiro top, so this is kind of their one opportunity to maybe take a fight with PSG.LGD having a numbers disadvantage.
He's going to walk down towards the boys as well.
And look at the call. I mean, that's just the discipline from Why You Smile. You back up to a cliff ward where you can maybe get a tombstone laid down. You can potentially turn with like an arena if you catch them off guard. So OG are aware of this and then they look to back on up.
It's bearing now. They've got available to themselves, even popping the drums just before it gets delivered, so they're going to have a second use of
Pops. Great timing. Look at the arena usage as well. Puts Tiger over to the left side to try and stop the relocate, but he will suck it up nonetheless. It does mean, though, that DM has no one nearby to protect him. Now PSG.LGD, they're on the hunt for more as well. Can they get anyone, though? New. Oh, that's a bit awkward. That's super awkward. Does he make it? Tiger? All right, they got him. Meanwhile, to the left side. Continue to break out. Decent opportunity for nothing to say, but he activates. Now they'll turn. LGD, no fear. BZM is going for the finishing blow, but the silence just at the last second. They can't even get the kill onto the Storms for it, and what a timing from the spear. Shiro is beyond godlike. And look, once again. Oh, we got a regen. Very cool.
Oh, very fair. Very balanced, and this time around, no glyph, no familiars in a position to be able to cover these waves. But, really start knocking on those tier 4s, or do you take the safer route and go back? I don't really think it matters, to be perfectly honest. Such a dominant start towards this group stage, showing why they were one of the direct invites. Why not? It's a guarantee that it's going to be top at this point. Been long enough. Past the minimum Roche respawn timer. Also got a Crystallis, I believe, coming out to you, so even more damage. Does Io get one shot, is my question for you.
How much health does he got?
Well, 38. He's building a Ghost Scepter, he doesn't want that to happen.
Has he got much armor? No, I don't think he gets one shot.
Come on, Io. Use the tier 2 item, get a Gossamer Cape, it's the only thing saving you.
Oh no, this could be disastrous. They just spring the trap. They bait Roche. They think they're inside the pit, but PSG.LGD, we're ready for OG to contest. I mean, meanwhile, nothing to say. He's caught the eye off for the right side and back onto the high gun. You might end up dying. Well, they pocket him. So he's going to live momentarily, gets the blink away. They will not even kill the Mars. Jeez, a job. They have had enough of this series as LGD just wiped the floor.
I mean, clap, clap, clap. That's all I can say. LGD, such a dominant performance coming through from them, really trying to stamp their mark, say, you know what, we're tired of seeing Western Europe in these top 4. It's China's time. We're back in action. We're hitting form at the right period. And we're seeing if we can vault ourselves through to those playoff stages in the upper bracket. They're not going to be satisfied with lower bracket anymore. This roster's got the goods.
This roster has the goods, and if they keep having performances like that, then I'm very excited to see how deep of a run they're going to be able to make as well. A hell of a debut.
The synergy is out of control. Like, this is China Dota, this team fight style. I think I saw 3 separate, like, 4-man arenas into a full... Everything was combined together perfectly with the meld or the Storm Spirit. You just had complete understanding of what each person needed at each stage of the game. And we were kind of calling it LGD after that draft as well. It just felt like they were able to get so much more active than OG were. And OG's window to be able to try and make plays was so small. And the fact that lanes didn't go too well for them minimized that even further. So it really felt like they had to play completely bonkers like a 5-man coil. But when you go these Blink Daggers and you have a Storm Spirit, you never really need to be clumping up that much. So it's just perfect understanding of how to exploit their heroes, their draft, and they did it
What do we feel about this Coddle hero currently? Because we've spoken a lot about the Pugna being the battery. Of course, definitely was the better one out of all the available batteries. You know, the Ire and the Coddle. Of course, we saw Pugna nerf. Do we feel like Coddle may rise in popularity now?
I think so. I mean, it's one of those heroes that, again, like, if the game went late enough, you could have got a Scythe of Ice on this planet Coddle, right? And you would have had a way to be able to deal with the puck. It also makes Mars one of those, like, laners that are really sink or swim, right? It makes it so much stronger. I know he didn't even spend that much time in the lane. He was busy making plays and stacks elsewhere. But it's such a versatile hero. You've got the blind, of course, which is much more regular now. I really value the hero. It's one of those annoying, super fast supports as well. So you could afford to play it against the likes of, you know, an Undying if you eventually do go up against it, just because you're never really going to be feeling too threatened.
Well, this is just our first series of the night, a 2-0 victory, though, nonetheless, for the boys on PSG.LGD. A great way to start their debut here for the Riyadh Masters. We're going to have another team who has yet to play so far. It's going to be Talon, a direct invite versus Team Secret, who were able to make it in from the play-in stage. So going to be very exciting to see some battle of C and Western Europe, and maybe C and, you know, a little bit of C brothers in there as well.
Sprinkled
on Secret. Yeah, sprinkled in here and there on top of that. So we'll be about a half an hour break though until our second best of 2 is ready to go. So get some drink, get some water, well, get some food and water, and you also have plenty of streams to be able to fill the time as well until we have that exciting series of Talent versus Secret. So that being said, bit of a break. When we come back, we've got our second series of the night.